Indian news ma kwaba assign the ba wan kasa fidie so bio. Na maka trust before anything else na just a share na ebiem so kwa na wo subscribe to your channel no. What's the political news there? Never governance. We catch you sapani put of ma yet. Na panye to forma yet there. Ane na nsem foforo bi enso asan esi. Benim say what the nsem ade ban na ya na ya wote na ya wohwe na ya wofen so. Nti no nsem foforo bi esi a India news yan so pani ye to for me baby ati nyina chi no ye nsa atumi aka bi na yaso enso atimi atisa ensemi bi yentie nsem member sisi a na mpanifo mpo se kakum no ye che no koku enum de ba before that no subscribe to your channel no sabeka all other news a fa politics one the opesa wotie no eho etie ba ebe baby asusu anso person de body no fa na de asie bia no so fa comment enso to ase ne yenkenkan informal de ready na emeko yentie nsem member sisi a utie no fa comment to ase ba de emfa nchemu no so ento aso yentie mra
me patch
of ethics bi man ka bi ana yesi menua e plus so ebe ke kan niam bi kwame de to dan nsem hunu ke kan wo ya na wo ya na hwe anya yi na nyankopon so uche nua ne ade a no wa che menua ni nua adwene ne nye abebebom ana abe na bom ni ase kwa wo sha dan so chesa asmo hinti hey edek na yesi kwa yi bo a plus yi na Ghana for na fi ya yantitisa any miseducation
me anti ade bi ase matete sen crofo se Mahama person of chief justice se na be ya obekọ for a third term me patch sa de ye de mra ne
and what they say government communication minister for communication honorable Felix Kwachofo so they better just no kribia sa
ono kra wan kan ye Kwachofo so wan kan ye
adena guess what can I say
John Mahama bet to me seeking for billion terms ayemra Ghana constitution e wo dia media ye nyina betumi constitution no ye say wo pese wo sesa bibi wo mu afa kọ ha emra ne ye tro ye no ye say justice soa ni to force attorney general ni judgment no or tro wo mu say constitution no enye just text say ne da he then you are why
you me dem so honorable kan wasem me
first year I say a living organism capable of growth. Into no constitution, no, it will say any, and you say attract one and one, no. So if the president thinks that the term limit, no, Ghana, obey to meet the constitution now call parliament. Say parliament, me feel say Ghana, no, I will say a term limit feel so. Udi 100 terms Ghana conform some power. Also what transnational development. I am right that ho, and yet your mama is share some run.
But for now, dear,
no, your mama. On make us as a bam per se ade no ko bi atrim se nya ye de se do mama petete or petete omu ye lawyer for omu nim ne amra ne ka emra ne se John Mahama feel so person otena so bi mu a on famra parliament obo ba beto yen wo ho yen ne be hwe ade no aka se okay emra no ampa ya change emra na yen se wudi
yifrim na yifrim ne ya kwame ye plus o kan ina muni amoyawe obi yankan sisu biase the minwe plus kind yes it is true sir constitution of Ghana now then if article 1-2 that is supremacy of the constitution who read the constitution of the republic or say this constitution shall be the supreme law of Ghana and any other law found to be inconsistent shall to the extent of its inconsistency be void. That is the article 1-2 or say this is the supreme law of Ghana so we must conform with the provisions of this constitution. If any constitution say no constitution if to the extent of any it shall be void. Again, offer constitution and I'm say you free baby nearby. Na ye di history so Dani project say me won say Kwame Ekoti justice soa ne famous quote o make here in the case of a year to 4 verses attorney general o make quote famra Or say a written constitution such as ours is not an ordinary act of parliament. That position here, let me read my Ghana for position here. Or say a written constitution such as ours is not an ordinary act of parliament. It embodies the will of the people.
Precisely.
It also mirrors their history.
Exactly.
So the constitution it mirrors the history of this country. History ni say. History ni say. Emrebi bedui. Kwame Nkrumah declared who a president for life. He declared Ghana one party state. And no nam suma ku ni ade bebre bai. So the constitution trying to solve that issue. And omudi ashem say you shall have a term of presidency 4 years for 2 terms. And the Kwame plus Sabe Kase, your mama bet me the Maraba, near ya pass it, no a court, no a. It means you are not taking into account the history of this nation. When Kwame Nkrumah declared one party state and president for life. So your mama, yes, sir, constitution is not looking at him. It's you. It also mirrors the history account. Therefore, needs to be taken of it as a landmark in the people's search for progress. So we fire your history, your constitution here. You need to look at the constitution as a landmark. Say your direction for the progress. And baby you free bano. Yes, say be Jimmy Fona so free baby but sa ko ho wa bra woku. Enti edua anansidi wu ye no. Enti kuma ntenase entonku. So Kwame plus beka say your mama betimi a edete mra no. You obe amende mra. Na watena so a. Ye free baby ne ya ba ye hunu bi pen. And just so ayi ne bra. Fire. Now we it contains within it their aspirations and their hopes for the better and fuller life. So constitution it is not just a constitution. It contains the people's aspirations for better life. Now what was the framers of the constitution omunim baby a free ba say yenya 1960 constitution 1969 constitution 79 constitution 1992 and yamani bebre wo ho a we've amended them precisely ya yen sakraye wo mu etu article 21 a edru baby Kwame Nkrumah fa eye real koto that is ba for akoto ne eye jebi dan kwane ade mu koto no na ye ni bibia under the constitution a multimedia eye obi court for actor a breaching a part of the constitution. It's Yababedu in the article 21. Says enei obia yamra obia ye bibi na say a breach any part of the constitution. Obetimi akọ under article 21 and 130 of the constitution, which gives power to the Supreme Court. So obe make a declaration to that effect. So first of all, and then the constitution ma ho kwan ma timi ko ekoko sikise o ebi adwomama ye bibi na ye unconstitutional. Now framers of the constitution omo person omo so be mischief of ochina obi nsore enya de wo Kwame plus oye no ye fra bibi eye basic structure doctrine. The doctrine of basic structure. Because Justice Sowa say the constitution contains the history of the people, you know. Say even obe amend the constitution and you be bia na betimi amend it because of the basic structure. Now that basic structure doctrine there is a case in you can say 1973 in India. The friend Kasavan Navadando said there versus state of Bharati. Now omuye basic structure almost say constitutional certain part of the constitution you cannot touch it because the spine the bone of the constitution it's that means you've overthrown the constitution to come in with another one. So the basic structure there is a case of David Indi versus a attorney general in Kenya. Tell Kenya 4 years on constitution constitution. The Kenyan Supreme Court declares so because of the basic structure doctrine you cannot touch certain provisions in the constitution. Now your framers of the constitution among person watching a benya se be na adwene nye no say a majority in parliament it's one wo ye ni ade no Yanko Article 66. Now Yanko Hedi Eka. Now Article 66 of the Constitution. And what chapter 8 of the Constitution. Chapter 8 in a head and the executive. So anything that is said under chapter 8, now Article 66 to a person shall not be elected to hold office of Ghana for more than 2 terms. Back Article 66 1. 66-1 on the radio. Then it 66-1. So Kofi, and I'm saying the framers or say a person elected as president shall, subject to clause 1 of this article, hold office for a term of 4 years, beginning from the date on which he is sworn in as president. So Article 66-1 say you to abamount say be president. Obetimi aye president for just 4 years, which is a term. Oko 66-2. You read 66-2. 66-2 say you can only be a president for saya to abama 4 years and only 2 terms. So 66-2 say a person shall not be elected to hold office as president of Ghana for more than 2 terms. Edientia yempe Kwame Nkrumah we declare no state you can say president for life. It watching Kwame plus say John Mahama betime de yina ba no declare no say there be yempe sa history nti yempe biokrati. If you baby nearby, you pay no money shame. Now, omudi shame we and omo see betimi anya bodam ni bi oba president. No watching us make declare me home president for life. It's constitution omo chemu mienu. Your frame be entrenched provisions and non-entrenched provisions. Entrenched provisions in here day. Or say yes, the Omusa Parliament under Article 290. And what the amendment powers of a year the Supreme so bet me amended. And some person will amend any part of the Constitution. Or mum pass mra amended. It will for Constitution the Kenya. Over here the 527th Act of Parliament of the Republic of Ghana entitled the Constitution. So a act and a passing constitution and some amendment. It's the OSHA Article 8. Article 8 first said it is no longer the same here. It's here the act way and I amended Article 8. So baby was say Article 8 of Constitution is repealed and the following is inserted. It is a read Article 8. As who say you repealing and you amending with this. Come and read this one. Okay. Now you say Parliament will to me so to me amend. Nemo yempe de kwam ye plus e kano. It's yanko Article 290. Nyanko indicates them. Entrenched provisions, non-entrenched. And a constitution is say the anya non-entrenched no. And no the what the Parliament bet me amended. Nemo or the roadblocks be to home. Said the beya. Who person amended the entrenched provisions obebre. Kenio. So nya easy say kwam beka say your mama bet me the Maraba Parliament. They amended anya correct. Anya no correct. Now Danny zoom in na menchiro Ghana for there. Zoom in. I say okay, so Danny what about clause 4? Let's go to clause 1. 290 clause 1. Let's go to 290 clause 1. Let's read the clause 1, clause 2, clause 3. Now 290 is going to show us the processes are open so amending entrenched provisions. And constitution was entrenched provisions, you know. The whole of chapter 8. So OSHA Article 290 I say amendment of entrenched provisions. Now that Danny Fameko Article 1. Good. Zoom in. Or say this article applies to amendment of the following provisions of the Constitution, which are in the Constitution. Okay, so then refer to as entrenched provisions. It's provisions here. Your friend of entrenched provisions. And no one mean Tamu and Fanko Parliament keke. Now, Osha was saying, hey. The Constitution, Article 1, 2, and 3. The entire person Article 1, 2, and 3 Gina ho. Now obient me for the sanka anyhow. It's because Article 1 and I care about the supremacy of the Constitution. It's Yamakwem will be amended noa. That means obet me yen Article 2.1 and also the Supreme Court the power to make declarations when obey the assembly. It's Yamakwem will more amended anyhow best say. Article 3. I think the territorial citizens or territorial. Let me go to Article 3. Now, already Article was say, Danny, don't zoom back. Now, I see the following. Okay, a clause 1F. Or see the executive. It's Danny for second page in the Tuso. Or see the executive, the whole chapter 8. So, me know Kasafa Constitution. The whole chapter 8. Bibi account will be an entrenched provision. the term limits of the president, who qualifies to be president, who can stand for president. Ninyina wanda chapter 8.
Exactly.
The presidential powers. So then be court to me fanon koko. Ninyina wanda chapter 8. Ana 290 say chapter 8 ninyina ye entrenched provisions.
Exactly.
It's yafe yan kwahwe kwan ye fa so. Amend this up as also sign and trend provision. So it's not easy to say, wait to me the Maraba and you better near pass it. Kwame Janse, when himself said another answer, you know the law. So you know your mama cannot wake up and say, we send me to parliament. Now, Yansha, how or say if you want to amend a year entrenched provisions, Article 290 has provided. Or say the other kind says speaker no onya bo eba na no kura so mpeso mo amende and mostly some mo ba amende mra e ya attorney general and the free executive ne ba na afi processes na koso eti article 106 actually the processes have be go through with a year wo person pass mra na mo me kodu entrenched provision or say even speaker ne ya na adwene na obosu kim ba ko e wo ayi parliament wa. As we refer, Marano, or say a bill for an amendment of an entrenched provision shall before Parliament proceeds. It's before the Parliament. Ben are going to cross or or say before Parliament proceeds to consider it. Before such as your mama no Ben are just what Parliament. Or say it shall be referred to the by the speaker to the Council of State for its advice, and Council of State shall render a year advice. The bill. Okay, before the bill will be written, so before say speaker as a speaker refer a year bill no, yes, I didn't know person amend or entrench it's chapter 8, article 66. As a speaker, the Council of State for now, Council of State for him. Now, young Danny connects the Council of State for him. We are again, that's what Messiah or say Council of State for him. We are yes, or say the bill shall be published in the Gazette. You can't Gazette, say Uko Saudia, the publishing or Gazette. It's a Moya Madrid, some article 66 now, or say the bill shall be gazetted for 6 months.